Hello, and welcome back to Through the Trapdoor. I'm Emily.
And I'm Katie.
And this is our podcast where we read you Harry Potter fan fiction.
That's what we do every week.
Do you have any fun announcements?
Not this week.
We're up to almost 2,500 downloads.
Ooh, so fancy.
I know. And we've got listeners all over the world.
That's so exciting. I love it.
Yeah. We had some downloads in Japan the other day.
Shut the front door. Hey, Japan.
Yeah. And as always, we have a huge download in Germany and across the United States. And we actually have a whole bunch in Norway and Sweden right now.
So fun. Look at us go.
Yeah.
Spreading Harry Potter joy across the world.
So you guys should leave us a review. A bunch of you did go on and rate us, which is fantastic. But you really do? Seriously? He's rubbing himself on the microphone again.
Yes, so ratings are amazing and we love it, but if you leave us a review, it makes it easier for more people to find us, and then we'll get more listeners all over the world. Spread the joy that is us.
Yes. We'll also read your review.
We will. We will read your review and shout you out and say thank you and that we love you, because we do.
Mm-hmm. We do very much. This story, hang on, I gotta scroll way back up to the top of the page, is called You'll Be in My Heart. It was written on a T.A.R.Z.A.N prompt, so.
I was going to say, this sounds like a song fic.
It's not a song fic, but it was written on a T.A.R.Z.A.N prompt, so.
Interesting.
Yes. They use it in a very interesting way.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the garbage.
It also starts by labeling this chapter 1, but there's no additional chapters, and it seems to come to an end, so.
Interesting. I wonder if they intended to write more, but then wrapped it up nicely and was like, alright.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. How much longer are you with us, Red? Charlie's question broke Ginny out of the thought she'd been stuck in. She took a deep breath. Shrugging one shoulder, she said, "Just 3 more weeks, then back to London. I have the first tryout with the Holyhead Harpies the 1st of September." Charlie let out a low whistle. "And you're not back home training your arse off? I'm surprised." "I get enough airtime here," Ginny pointed out, crossing her arms and slouching back in the chair. "I'll be fine. They said I'm a shoo-in anyhow. The tryout's just a formality."
Yeah, sometimes it's like that.
"If you say so, little sis," Charlie said with a wry grin.
Rygrin?
Yeah, I can't.
Rygrin.
Wry grin. Struggle City. Pushing himself to stand, he added, "Well, we're lucky to have you here. I'm going to go catch a nap before it's time to prep for dinner."
Why did Charlie call Ginny Red?
I feel like it's a thing that even canon Charlie would do.
Yeah, probably. But he also has red hair.
All the more reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of replying, Ginny simply waved as her brother exited her tent and went to seek shelter in his own. Biting her lip in a very Hermione-like manner, Ginny took in the sight of her own tent. She'd grown accustomed to living this way over the past few months. It would be hard to leave and return to her normal life, but she had that tryout, and Harry was waiting for her after all. Standing, Ginny went to the opening of her tent and peered out at the camp. Well, it was much more than that. It was a rehabilitation center for witches and wizards that were significantly impacted by the war. Healers and other volunteers helped those that suffered from extensive spell and curse side effects, as well as those that had PTSD. When Charlie had volunteered to run the magical creature program after Fred's funeral had ended, Ginny had followed his lead and signed up to help run the Quidditch program.
I was so confused. I'm like, what was Ginny doing there? Why isn't Harry attending this camp?
Harry should be like patient number 1.
Like, seriously?
How to deal with trauma.
That makes much more sense now, okay? I was concerned for a moment. I was like, what kind of trauma are they saying Ginny went through?
None. She is a volunteer. Both Ginny and Charlie had no desire to stick around the burrow and watch as their parents and siblings continued to mourn Fred. They were mourning too, but they needed to do it in their own way. It was Kingsley who had petitioned the creation, the Treatment and Rehabilitation Zone and Nursery, or T.A.R.Z.A.N for short.
Ah. I was like, why is there a nursery? That's
I don't know.
Tarzan.
Mm-hmm. As soon as Arthur had brought home the pamphlet of information, the two filled out the appropriate paperwork and soon found themselves in a remote location in West Africa.
Why?
As it turns out, Ginny fell in love with the place. It was like a glorified camp, but with magic. You are a witch, so...
Yeah, why wouldn't all camps have magic in the wizarding world?
Crazy people. Healers from all over the world came to take care of the patients, and in the meantime, there were various activities for the patients to take part in as part of their mental rehabilitation. Charlie had different magical creatures brought in for the patients to help care for, learn about, and yes, even play with. Luna had shown up on day 3 of the setup and joined her brother's team.
Luna has a brother? No, Charlie.
Yes.
It's Ginny's brother.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was reading it. I was like, what? Oh, Charlie. She's talking about Charlie. Ginny was thankful to have another friendly face at Tarzan, especially since she had to leave Harry behind. He'd wanted to dive right into Auror training and had left her to her own devices. Yeah, that kind of does sound like something Harry would do.
Exactly. Something that Harry would do. It would also explain why Harry didn't go to Tarzan.
Yes.
He's like, no, I must save the wizarding world.
No, I'm training to be an Auror. You know it's my life's dream. Oh yeah, we didn't tell them that what we were drinking.
We're drinking basil.
What a surprise!
From Staggering Unicorn.
We're bad at podcasting, in case you guys haven't noticed.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking around so long.
She figured they'd catch up as soon as she was back, just like they always did. There was nothing to worry about on that front. However, there were now only 3 weeks left until she was set to return to London, and suddenly, Ginny wasn't sure she was ready to go home. She'd helped build the Quidditch program from scratch and wanted to see it through, or at the very least make sure it was in good hands when she left. That's why she put off her tryouts until the 1st of September, deciding to get an early start prepping dinner. Ginny left her tent and headed toward the mess hall. Halfway there, she spotted Luna standing near the activity grounds, who waved her over. She waved back and then veered the direction of the Quidditch pitch instead. "What are you doing over here?" she asked when she reached her friend. "Shouldn't you be off playing with Measles?" "I was headed there to feed them, but Victor stopped me earlier," Luna explained. "He was looking for you." "Looking for me?" Ginny frowned, looking towards the pitch. "What for?" "He's been asking for you," Luna whispered so that no one else would hear. There were no secrets in such a small camp. She gestured towards where Victor Crumb was seated, polishing his broomstick. The look Katie just gave me. I think they literally mean broomstick in this case.
I'm sure they do, but whoo. The implication of that.
"What does he want?" Ginny asked, frowning. After the final battle, Victor had been unable to cope with what he'd done during the Tri-Wizard tournament. He insisted that it was his fault he'd been put under the Imperious Curse and had aided in the return of Voldemort.
I'm gonna go with no.
I don't think he had that.
I'm gonna go with that with Barty Crouch Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Not you.
Yeah. Because of that, he was recommended to join Tarzan as one of its first patients. "He just said that he wants to talk to you about something," Luna said with a shrug. He wouldn't elaborate. Rolling her eyes, Ginny said, "Well, I guess I'll go find out what he wants. We don't have any Quidditch games scheduled until after the evening meal." You make it sound like it's super far away.
I know, and also, why are you playing a game after you've eaten dinner?
It sounds like a lot of vomit could happen.
Yeah, like, that is not that does not make for a good game.
No, like, I understand after breakfast.
Yeah, because, like, breakfast, you then, like, go do your warm-ups. You've got your fuel for the day. You're ready to go. But dinner is typically a much heavier meal, and you're usually just like, time for bed.
Yep.
Also, this is... I know you're in a camp in Africa, but this is the UK. You eat dinner late, typically.
Mm-hmm.
Much later than we do in the US.
Yes.
Dinner's like 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm in bed by then.
Me too.
But they all take naps in the middle of the day.
I wanted to take a nap today. I think he just likes your company, Luna pointed out, still speaking in hushed tones. That may be true, but I won't be here forever, Ginny said in reply. I know, but he seems to do better when he's with you. This time, Luna didn't stick around for a response. She headed off to the magical creature center, probably to prepare for that afternoon's activity. Now it's the middle of the afternoon.
I'm so confused. Did they say it was dinner or supper?
I think they just said evening meal.
Because if it's supper, that's lunch.
I honestly don't know. Ginny ran a hand through her red hair. Yeah, she said as she stepped towards the makeshift Quidditch field. I noticed that too. For some absurd reason, Ginny felt nervous about approaching Victor. She'd been working with him on the Quidditch pitch ever since he first arrived here at T.A.R.Z.A.N. Why was today any different? Sure, his arrival had been more than a surprise, but shouldn't make a difference. When he'd first come to camp, Ginny had been shocked to learn of his affliction. Because of their past history attending Hogwarts together during the Triwizard Tournament, Victor always seemed to migrate towards her when they were prepping teams or practicing on the pitch. Honestly, Ginny never minded. It was nice to have someone as knowledgeable at Quidditch as she was, and who had professional experience. She had to admit there were quite a few times where she'd picked his brain about tactics and his favorite moves. They were often the last to leave the pitch after practice or game night. Now, though, Ginny felt as if there were 100 Cornish pixies inside her stomach as she approached Victor. He was sitting on the bench, his hands smoothing polish over the firm handle of his broom. Firm handle of his broom. It's so inappropriate.
Like,
I mean, it's not, but it is.
That is double meaning.
Yep.
That is a double meaning. I gave you some serious side eye.
Yes, you did.
Ooh.
That thought made her smile. The looks Katie keeps giving me.
The context of this story.
If this were fourth year, Ron probably would have made a dirty joke. Who was she kidding? He still would.
Yeah, he would have.
It didn't help that he'd obviously managed to overheat in the sun and removed his shirt at some point.
Oh, damn.
Oh, this is fantastic. Clearing her throat, Ginny stopped at the end of the bench to get his attention. As the wizard glanced up, he flicked his head to get his long hair out of his face. When he saw her standing there, he set aside the polish and stood. Ginny, Victor said, his face breaking into a smile. I was hoping you would come. Hey, Victor, Ginny greeted, waving at the former seeker for Bulgaria. Luna said you were looking for me. Yes, he replied with a nod. I had a question. Quirking her head in inquiry, she asked, What's up? I have to get to the mess hall to help prepare dinner. This'll be quick, he said slowly and then appeared to swallow. I need your help with something. Ginny wondered what was causing him such trouble. She hoped he didn't have a backward slide. He'd told her his therapy sessions had been going well lately. Luna liked to insist it was because of all the time they spent together. But Ginny had Harry, and, well, that was really the issue, right? Shaking her head, she discarded such thoughts. Ginny refocused on Victor. Okay, what can I do for you? You can help polish his broom.
I know, that's clearly what he wants.
Victor stepped closer to her, then his dark eyes glinting in the sunlight. I need to write a letter to your minister, but my English is not so good as when I speak it. That sentence was not so good as you speaking.
Yeah, well, I mean, English is a second language, so fair.
Yeah. You need me to help you write a letter? Ginny was confused. She thought when he learned English, he learned how to write it as well. Yes, he nodded, taking another step toward her. If you do not mind. I thought we could have lunch and you could help.
What time is it?
I don't know.
What meal are they preparing? What is the next meal? Is it lunch? Is it dinner? It's the middle of the day, clearly, so why is no one in therapy?
I don't know. I really have no idea what's going on.
Why does he need to write a letter to Kingsley?
That's another great question.
I hope they answer it.
I don't remember that they do. I read it this morning, briefly. I don't remember much of what happened.
Oh, you did forget they were in Africa, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm also really, really bad at actually proofreading stories and all that jazz.
I'm raising my hand to say same.
Ginny tucked a loose piece of hair back behind her ear. She knew she should probably say no and tell him to get Charlie or even his therapist, healer, to help, but that would seem kind of mean. Plus, she kind of wanted to have lunch with him. He was her friend, right? That was okay. Friends had lunch all the time. This would be fine.
I don't know if you would be considered his friend or one of his counselors in this situation, Ginny. You're one of the volunteers.
In either case, this will be fine. It will be fine.
People have lunch all the time.
Yeah. Nothing's gonna
While
happen.
you're supposed to be making dinner.
Whatever.
I'm so confused.
She sighed. I guess I could push some things aside for that. The smile that graced Victor's face was worth saying yes. He grabbed hold of her shoulders, lifted her off the ground, twirled her around before setting her back on her feet. It left Ginny a bit breathless, but she felt like she hid it well. Thank you, Ginny, Victor said as he released his hold. Oh, yeah, she stammered, trying to get her mouth to cooperate with her head.
That would be such an awkward way to pick somebody up and twirl them around by the shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
Yeah.
Not under the arms, nothing. The shoulders, that's like pinning my arms against my side and then just picking me up and spinning me around.
Yeah, that'd be weird. And
That's
uncomfortable.
so awkward.
I would not enjoy that.
No.
Or her head to cooperate with her mouth. Which one, she wasn't quite sure. No problem, I had to go now. Yes, of course. I'm sorry to have kept you so long. I'll see you tomorrow, yes?
Okay, so they're gonna have lunch tomorrow.
Victor asked, staring down into Ginny's chocolate eyes.
Oh, God. Why?
He was so close that Ginny could feel the heat of the day radiating off his naked chest. Heart beating rapidly in her skin, she somehow managed to nod and say, yeah, sure, tomorrow, before backing away and all but running towards the mess hall. Tonight she would see Victor at the Quidditch games, but there would be so many other people around. Tomorrow, however, she would be having lunch with Victor, alone. Reaching the end of the footpath that led away from the pitch, Ginny glanced over her shoulder. He was still watching. The look in his eyes sent a thrill down her spine. Tearing her gaze away from his, Ginny clenched her fist and hurried to the mess hall. She needed to get her mind off the feelings stirring inside her chest. Peeling 10 pounds of potatoes should help with that. Then again, planning forbidden lunches with wizards that were off limits tended to leave you more than a bit unsettled, especially in the heart.
Well, why is it forbidden?
Probably because she's the counselor.
All right, fair.
And she's with Harry.
Yeah. They'll get married anyways. They always end up married.
Probably. I also feel like Ginny could, come back and be like, So I had a thing with Victor, and Harry'd be like, cool, I had a thing with Victor too.
Yeah. Isn't he hot? Like, what
Yeah.
the hell, Harry?
Yeah. He is very good at pointing out that men are hot.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm listening to Potterless, and they've just covered, like, the battle at, what's it called? The Ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of times that Harry mentions how handsome Sirius is.
Yeah.
Like, thank you, Pepper, for licking my toes. I appreciate it.
She's like, you're welcome.
It's just, it kind of baffles me.
Mm-hmm. All right, what do you have for me?
I also have some nonsense. And it's called Fame and Fortune.
I'm being attacked.
You are. You're being attacked.
Okay. Don't. No, you're going to pull off all the cords. Yes, you go.
All right. This is Fame and Fortune. Harry was busy streaming his video on YouTube, and his boyfriend Draco was out for the day.
You really like Drarry.
I hate Drarry. I don't know why I keep finding it. I don't get it. But I find the most ridiculous things, and they always happen to be Drarry. I tend to apparently read two things, Drarry or Hermione.
I mean, okay. Also, he's uploading his video?
Yeah,
Okay.
to YouTube.
Cool.
Yeah, this is where we're at.
Okay.
A Harry Potter AU where he is a YouTuber.
With Draco.
With Draco. He is with Draco.
Maybe this is after Draco came back to be with Harry after being an owl.
Yes, obviously. This is
Okay.
clearly the continuation, but it's
Obviously.
not. In our canon it is.
It's just perfect.
In our canon. So everyone, stay subscribed for a special episode where I have my boyfriend and his very skeptical and very powerful father on the show. Okay, Harry. Can only serve for great entertainment since he hates my guts.
Yeah.
Harry said into the camera before logging off. I just love that he's like, my boyfriend's very powerful father who hates me.
Well, obviously.
Harry had gotten used to logging off before Draco got home after a bunch of arguments.
Drive-by footlick. Listen, I know it's stormy and rainy, but you don't need to be on my lap. I don't know if we're going to be able to read a second story.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
We might just have that one.
Yeah, I think just the one for now.
Katie will read this one next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll try to get it recorded tonight. If not, we might be taking a week's hiatus.
I think that's probably what will happen because it's thundering outside and the dog's trying to get very nervous.
Yep. So, this will be posted next week, and then since I'm on vacation, we're not recording this week. So we will see you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Have a lovely day, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on our journey through the trap door.
Please leave us a review on Facebook or iTunes. It would literally mean the world to us.
It really would.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Through the Trapdoor 16 or on Twitter at The Trapdoor.
And please send us an email at throughthetrapdoor16@gmail.com with any story suggestions. And as always, join us again next Saturday as we travel through the trapdoor.